Alright, so we've just been following up this pathway as discussing. See, there is an old pathway that's more in a state of ruin. It continues on in that direction, but we will be going this way. Okay, so again, that's the pathway we just came up. That's the older one that goes off in the distance here, and this takes us to the top of this layer, which will give me a closer look at some of this strange stonework here, which is not consistent with either the polygonal megalithic technology nor the Inca technology. This is something different and cannot be seen anywhere else around in the hills of Cusco, Urubamba, Pisac or Jantotambo. So let's go take a look. So this is as far as I can get to within the roped off area here. We have the recognizable polygonal stuff here, but look at that rock. It's not consistent with anything else. So this section, for whatever reason, this rock was quarried, or the aggregate, if it's poured, whatever, is extremely so different, and you can't really see it from here. Maybe later on the way back I might try and get down here somewhere so I can show you a better facing of that rockwork there. It's a totally different type of rock. It's not found in this area at all. But yeah, just while we're here, just a quick look at here. Like I said, just imagine some kid has got himself a Lego kit, he's built himself something, and then in a moment of tantrum he's just kicked it all over. Shit's just scattered everywhere. Yeah, just looking at what's left, the remnants of something incredible. As it Hal says in Space Odyssey, something wonderful. Yeah. Okay, let's continue on and see what else we're allowed to see in this area. I don't know. Look at that there. Circular pipework running through there at some point. And this is the typical of the melted, just cooked out stuff that you find on the top of these wall sections. And yeah, we are actually at the top, so just got to try and find my way around where we can get some access to some of these points where it's not roped off. And again, look at this. You can clearly see here, this is buried. Like, how far down does this go? How far down does this go? Alright, just going to take a little hike up to the very, very top here. Because it's all mounded, I doubt there'll be anything exposed, but we should have a great view of the city from there. So we're going to go up there and take a look. Actually, firstly, that's what we were looking at just then. As you can see, there is more of it here. This just goes down, down, down. Alright, let's see what we can see from the top up there. Okay, as we're walking up the hill here, again, just remnants of Inca style wall, but look at this. We scamper up here. That's like top of a huge stone slab. And there you go, look at that. Cusco. Alright, there's a bit of a view overlook there. Let's go take a look from there. Actually, as we're walking along here, take a look at the ground. This is not just random rock sticking out of the ground. This is cooked out wall. It's just been blasted. Like you can sort of kind of see it's the original sort of block work there, but cooked out. And same with this mess here. Like, this is not just random rock just sticking out of the ground. This is cooked out. I mean, here we go, a little bit of shape still left here. This was something. This was just as much like that area I showed you before with the walls when I said probably continues down deeper. This is exactly the same thing. This is the same block work. These are the same style walls, but it's just cooked. It's just blasted the crap out of all of this along here. But yeah, if you don't know what you're looking for, it just looks like this random bit of rock sticking out of the ground. But no, it's not. Alright, now let's check out the view. There it is. La Ciudad de Cusco. Okay, along this area here, just notice down through here, there's a good bit of zoom, and you can see more stonework, more wall down the bottom of the hill here. Like this whole hill, this whole mound, this whole mountain, just some point in time was a massive building of some sort. Alright, so that was that random rock outcropping we we're just looking at. I'll just scamper down here. The pathway goes off down there, but looky over here. Can't really get a good view in there, but just full of its rubbish and stuff. Just indications that this whole area is just mud flooded, and underneath we were literally walking on top of a ancient massive building. You have to look at the level work there, like perfectly straight. Terracing. I hate to use the word pyramids all the time, or step pyramid or whatever, but it's pretty much what we're walking on top of. This whole hill here, it's just mud flooded, dirt covered, massive building of some sort. Okay, we're going to follow along that pathway down there to have a look in there. Alright, so same pathway, we just came down here. We're now looking at this area here. Gonna have to speed things up a little bit because it's going to start raining heavily. Like when it rains here, it rains. So there's obviously, as you can see, there's nowhere to take shelter in this part other than like heading back down towards the centre of the site where all the merchants are. There's some undercover area there, but I reckon probably 10 minutes max before the rain hits. So we'll get through this area, but I want to show you, if I can, a better view of that section there. Okay, just noticed that off in the distance as well. I just want to go take a real quick look at that. Yeah, look at that. Quite interesting. back over onto the correct side of the no-go wall. Right, and back up there. Which is also interesting, so you can still see the flowway there of the ancient. So like this is again indication of mud flooding. Like originally it would have been an aqueduct system running through here. This is all that's left of it. And yeah, this is what I was talking about. But this trapezoid style alcoves, you want to call them, this is very reminiscent of a lot of architecture in the area, both here and Pisac and Ollantaytambo. You're going to see these trapezoid shaped. Sorry, a little bit out of breath from the climb up here. In fact, look at that. Actually see some stairways there heading up into nothingness, into the ground basically. It's hard to tell, but the stairway there does go up, it goes right, and it just stops it into the hill. So yeah, structure continues on into the mound. There we go. Look, another area there. Actually, what's interesting too is that massive rain cloud that started spitting on me before has just passed. So it's going to annoy someone else. Hey, look at that slab right there. Look at the perfectly straight edges. Look at that. It's just incredible. Just incredible. And look at that mess up there. And that outcropping right up the top there, that's just, again, just melted, cooked out stuff. Alright. Now I need to make my way back up the top. And then we'll head towards that area that I showed you before from a distance. But going to be retracing my steps back, basically up through there. On my way back, just wanted to show you here this ancient waterway. This isn't just like erosion from water running down the dirt. This is actually stonework here. Bad state of disarray, but that basically runs down all the way down through there, and even in the grass covered area you can see how it used to run. Just look at those right angles there. Okay, and there is the waterway, still running along the original footpath, finding a little bit of its original construction here before finally disappearing into the undercover area, which, as I say, will continue to run as they do crisscross through the entire Andes. Right, that's the doorway that we just actually passed down through. Up from the higher area there, I found the actual pathway back down rather than the way that I found up. More of this buttressing. We're going to follow this pathway along down to the green area and then across over to there. And I really want to check that out too. Yeah, one of those cases where you say mountain, I say wall. Okay, just walking along here. Just again, you can still see the old waterway system running along, but just to highlight the degree of engineering here. I mean, there's another keyway there for the waterway. It just runs up through. So it just continues underground. Yeah, incredible feat of technology. Absolutely incredible. There's another one there. Someone's just stuck a wood spout in there. Okay, that area there undercover. Site currently under archaeological excavation. That's why it's covered. And someone has just filled in, stuck a bit of pipeway or something in here. That pipeway is not original, but the stonework is. And look at the waterway there. How long that's been there for working. Huh? Incredibly. Okay, we just came up that pathway through here. Again, two big bad boys, the entryway. And look at this corner here. How the corner just continues up. I mean, you wouldn't do that. That's all that's left of what used to be a whole new layer. Like, we're just looking at the bare bones of what used to be. Again, at each entryway we have these big bad boys. Oh, great. More steps. Caramba. See, hopefully the top of all this will actually lead me to a way back to the grassed area, because I'd hate to have to do this all over again. And the last time I was at Sachsayhuaman was in 2015, so 10 years ago. Can't say that a whole lot has changed. If anything, I think we actually have less access to what we used to have before. Look at that big hole in the top of that big bad boy. Makes you wonder if the other bad boys like that are hollow. Again, proponents of poured rock theory, check out the hole at the top of that bad boy there. Yep, so there's our way down. It's not going to be a direct route, I think, but kind of a zigzag. But yeah, this is real interesting, but no access. This is all roped off, and yeah, look at that bad boy up there. Cooked, melted block. This would have been just like that one I showed you before, with the perfectly straight edges at some point of time. It's just been cooked. Same with that outcropping up there as well. It's not natural rock, it is cooked out blockwork, cooked to the max. Alright. Actually, this way is going to be easier, I think, to find out. Hey, look at this. See? At ground level. So that definitely continues much further down. That pathway down through there. But I think this way is going to be a quicker way down. Let's find out. Here's another example of the key where they're at ground level. But then we take a look at this one over here. It's midway. So, yeah. Mud flooded to the max. Alright, let's make our way down. Okay, just steps back down, but wanted to highlight here that what we were looking at before was basically just a groove in the ground. This is what it would have also originally looked like before it was covered, and the reason you can still see it in the ground is because obviously the bottom is also stoned, so it leaves that impression in the grassway because stuff can't grow in it at the same level. Yeah, look at that. This slab is pretty much halfway in between. Like, you can see there, perfectly clear cut straight edges. and cooked. Oh, look at this bad boy here. Look at this. Again, this would have originally been like something like this, but cooked to the max. You can see the discoloration here on this block. And cooked. So whatever happens during these resets, whether it is plasma eruptions, plasma from the sun, whatever it is, it's pretty devastating, huh? Look what it does. Now what we're looking at here, by the way, is just the very top of a huge stone, just like similar at the last site when we were standing on top of that rock wall. We're doing the same here. So that's not just like a slab on top of the ground, that is the top of a huge rock, which I'll highlight, bring to your attention when we're at the bottom looking up. And now let's work our way down. Before we do that, that's that waterway that we were following before, and it continues down here till once again it just disappears into the ground, and we'll have similar construction like this all the way through, but is now continuing underground. Okay, and we're now at the bottom of the rock that I brought to your attention, this bad boy up here. I said it was cooked out, and that's the one we were actually standing on when I was showing you the edge. So like I said, it was just the top, not just a random slab on the ground, but the top of this. Now we're at the bottom, inverted commas, bottom of I should say thus far bottom of this construction, and this is where you see most, if you go to Google and you type in Sachsayhuaman, this is pretty much the level that they show you, because there is some incredibly large rocks very shortly to come. Okay, and just again a view of where we were. This continues on, as you can see, for quite some distance, and the really big rock is where those people, all the tourists, are over there. Then we have this green glade area, and then on the other side we have the same thing. Alright, it's going to start raining again real soon. There's no real shelter over there. I'm not too sure where to go really. I think I'm going to get wet, but anyway, soldier on. She just sort of picture here is a couple of alpaca chilling in the background there. It's not uncommon to see them just roaming around the site here. Alright, this is pretty much all the same all the way along here, so I'm just going to head down here, and I'll bring to your attention when I get to the really big rocks. Okay, just thought I'd take a quick one here. You can see these tourists are walking past the sizes of these rocks. Like, these rocks here are huge. They're bigger than people. Got some size perspective there. Okay, you can see the people up the top there, just for some perspective. Look at the size of that bad boy sitting on top of that one there. Now, of course, this one here at the bottom we're looking at, that rock is probably just as big. In fact, foundational wise, that rock there is probably way bigger than that rock there. It's just most of it is buried. We're just looking at like the tip of the iceberg there of these bottom layer rocks, because you don't put massive chunks of rock like that on top of little rocks like that. That makes no sense at all. It's just most of it's still missing, Now look at this bad mix here. Again, proponents of poured rock will totally get this. This was just a bad mix when they made this one. Maybe too much water, too wet, and it's just very or alternatively plasma blast, who knows, cooked. This is the classic stuff here too. This sort of thing you'll see all through the downtown Cusco, the actual impression parts here, and also nodules that stick out. There are some here on the rocks as well. When I see one next, I will bring it to your attention. But again, this is indicative there was something here. Like this was just, something was inlaid here. We're looking at the skeleton. We're looking at the bare bones of what was. More of that here. And again, the inset there, where something clearly fitted in to there. And look at the size of this bad boy here. This is one piece, incredibly. Some more examples here. You can see. Alright, I think this bad boy here might be a good shot for a tripod, or maybe that bad boy over there. Okay, I'm going to work out the best place here to take a tripod shot for the thumbnail. Actually, that's really interesting. The oxidation, or iron oxide in here. Yeah, so whatever I showed before, was something inset in there. So here we've got clear evidence that whatever it was metal. It's just none of it left. And just look at these people for some size perspective on these bad boys. Alright, so that's that area there, that's the huge big rock outcropping. I said we'll take a closer look at later. But this one here is definitely, well, at this level. I want to check that. Already I can make out interesting stuff.